Lord Kapila Dev is describing to his mother Devahuti the glories of devotional service. Chapter 25 of Canto 3, text number 44. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Śrīla Prabhupāda. Therefore, persons whose minds are fixed on the Lord engage in the intensive practice of devotional service. That is the only means for attainment of the final perfection of life. Please repeat. Therefore, persons whose minds are fixed on the Lord engage in the intensive practice of devotional service. That is the only means for attainment of the final perfection of life. Here the words mano mayi arpitam, which means the mind being fixed on me, are significant. One should fix his mind on the lotus feet of Krishna or his incarnation. To be fixed steadily in that freedom is the way of liberation. Ambrish Maharaj is an example. He fixed his mind on the lotus feet of the Lord. He spoke only on the pastimes of the Lord. He smelled only the flavors and tulsi offered to the Lord. He walked only to the temple of the Lord. He engaged his hands in cleansing the temple. He engaged his tongue in tasting the foodstuffs offered to the Lord. And he engaged his ears for hearing the great pastimes of the Lord. In that way, all his senses were engaged. First of all, the mind should be engaged at the lotus feet of the Lord very steadily and naturally, because the mind is the master of the senses. When the mind is engaged, all the senses become engaged. That is Bhakti Yoga. Yoga means controlling the senses. The senses cannot be controlled in the proper sense of the term. They're always agitated. This is also true with a child. How long can he be forced to sit down silently? It is not possible. Even Arjuna said, Chanchala himana Krishna, the mind is always agitated. The best course is to fix the mind on the lotus feet of the Lord. Mano mayi arpitam stiram. If one seriously engages in Krishna consciousness, that is the highest perfectional stage. All Krishna conscious activities are on the highest perfectional level of human life. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purports of the third canto, 25th chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled The Glories of Devotional Service. So the Supreme Absolute Truth has feet. His feet are very, very nectarine. And the devotees of the Lord, they're like honeybees who always go after the honey of Krishna's lotus feet. So here, this is actually also a polemic or a rejection of the impersonalist approach to the Supreme Lord or the Supreme Absolute Truth. Yene ravindakshi vimuktimanina stvayi ashtabhavat avishuddha buddhaya aru krishena parampadam tata patanti ado nadrita yushmadangraya. So in this verse it describes that because they have no taste for the lotus feet of the Lord, their intelligence is somewhat compromised. Avishuddha buddhaya, they don't have very good intelligence. Krishna tells Arjuna Bhagavad-Gītā, Tasma sarvashu kaleshu mam anusmara yudhyacha maya arpata mano buddhi. That you engage in your activities and you use your intelligence how to accept only those things, tat tat karma pravartanam. Accept only those things which are conducive to the pleasure of the Lord, pure devotional service, and reject all those things, prohibitions, those things which cause the mind to become more and more restless. Yoyam yoga tvaya proktam samyenam madutuhusanaha etasyaham napashyami chanchalat pat stitim stiram. Even Arjuna, 5,000 years ago, is telling Krishna, this practice of this Astanga Yoga process, which you're telling me, 6th chapter Bhagavad Gita, seems impractical for me. After all, the mind is very restless. It is very stubborn. It is very strong. It's like controlling the wind. Vayareva saduskuram. Can you control the hurricane? No. However, we're so fortunate that we accept this descending process, that the Lord appears to us, as Prabhupada said to one person, you don't see God? He's standing on the altar in his Archa Vigraha form, Archa Vishnu Śrīla deer. Even in this form of stone, the Lord is there. That is his Shakti. He has so much Shaktis that he appears in this beautiful threefold bending form. Lord Krishna holding his flute. Therefore, Rupa Goswami says, if you at all want to enjoy the material world, then don't go to the forest of Vrindavan where the Yamuna river is flowing, where you'll see the son of Maharaj Nanda in his beautiful monsoon cloud color, holding the flute to his lips and playing on the 5th note. So the famous verse Rupa Goswami says, it's found in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. So fixing the mind on the Lord is here being expressed by Śrīla Prabhupāda. It is not that we don't try to remember the Lord. Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam. Trying to remember the Lord, and he's giving us so many wonderful pastimes. He's decorated with beautiful diamond earrings. His lips are like bimba fruits. His flute measures 3 fingers in length and is decorated with the Aruna jam, the ruby. And at each end there's the Indranula jam, sapphires. And in between is the gold encasement set ablaze by clusters of diamonds. This is another description by Rupa Goswami on Lord Krishna. Unimaginable how beautiful he is, that the inhabitants of Vrindavan say, what is this creator has given me eyes that blink? Radharani is also asking, let me get the eyes of a fish which never blink, so I can always drink with the cups of my eyes the beautiful form of the son of Maharaj Nanda, Madan Mohan, the Lord who attracts millions and millions of cupids. So how do we come to the platform of always remembering the Lord, never forgetting the Lord? That is called Raganuga Bhakti. In Vedi Bhakti, in Sadhana Bhakti, there's Vedi Sadhana, Raganuga Sadhana. So by following strictly these rules and regulations of Bhakti Yoga, by avoiding the 10 offenses to the holy name, we gradually come to offenseless chanting of the holy name, when the heart becomes pure. Anartha nivriti syat, becoming free of all the various contaminations within the heart. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he brought all his devotees to the Gundicha Mandir. And Maharaj Prataparuja ordered the Tulsi, the superintendent of the Puri temple, and Kashi Mishra also, to get hundreds of brooms and hundreds of buckets. The Gundicha Mandir represents the devotee, and the center, the mandapa where Lord Jagannath is going to sit, that is our heart. Shani Kripanidhi said our heart is just like a field where many, many weeds are coming up all the time. So these weeds are described by, Prabhupada mentions that Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati, he describes some of these weeds that we have to clear out. So the devotees, they were sweeping and collecting dust and twigs, and those who collected less had to pay some sweet cakes to those who collected more. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he collected more dust than all the devotees combined, hundreds of devotees. And then they were bringing water from the Narendra Sarovar in these pots. These are clay pots. And they were washing the walls, the ceiling. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself, he was also engaged in washing and using his own cloth to clean the place where Lord Jagannath would sit. So the mind has to be clean like this, free from Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Moha, Mada, and Matsarya. Krishna says, from wherever and whatever the mind wanders, we have to bring it back to the lotus feet of Krishna. How do we do that? By chanting and avoiding the 10 offenses. We have to continually chant the holy names of the Lord. Satatam kirtayanto mam yatantascha dhridavrataha namasyantascha mam nitya nitya yukta upasate. So determination. Utsaha nischayat dhiryat. We have to be very enthusiastic. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, what is the life of Shraddha? What is the fuel? What fuels one's faith in the process, the faith in Krishna? That is utsa, enthusiasm. We have to engage always with enthusiasm. Always trying to discuss wonderful activities and give Krishna consciousness wherever we are, to the Vaishnavas, to the non-Vaishnavas, everywhere. We want to share this Krishna consciousness. And confidence, nischayad, we have to become very confident while chanting the holy name, while engaging in devotional service. We have to endeavor with confidence that, yes, Krishna, you are my master, friend, and protector. If I engage with enthusiasm, I will develop my confidence, and then dharyam, I will have to also be patient. Because here we are struggling in devotional service. Our mind for millions of lifetimes has been trying to enjoy the material world and the slave of the senses. Just like Maharaj Prachina Barishat, he was busy in karma kanda. And karma kanda means I worship God, I'm religious, but I have some desires. I want some bhoga, some aishvarya, like this. I want some fame, some social prestige, like this. Material world, pumsos trio maitani bhavametam. So Prachina Barishat was, Narada Muni was preaching to him about this one person called Puranjana. It's an analogy. Puranjana means one who enjoys the gates, the city of 9 gates. So he was wandering around where? In the southern part of the Himalayas. And he came upon a city of 9 gates. And he entered this city. So the city of 9 gates, we have 9 gates in our body, the eyes, the ears, the mouth, so on. And the soul is being covered by the modes of passion, ignorance, like that, the modes of nature. And the intelligence becomes contaminated. Dayato vashaya pumsang sangateshu pajayate sangat sanjayate kama. So while thinking of the objects of the senses, one becomes attached. So the mind has to become attached to Krishna, to His holy name. Otherwise, there's no void. the mind will become attached to something material. Even in, Prabhupada said, even one may take sannyas, but then his mind becomes attached to a person, a particular temple, particular situation, and he's thinking, oh, I'm in this ashram. No. So Krishna consciousness is Daivi Varnashram. We transcend whatever situation we're in when we engage Iha Yasya Hare Bhaktir Karmana Manasa Gira Nikilashvapu Avastusa Jivan Mukta Sa Uchite. That when we engage our mind, intelligence, all our senses in Krishna consciousness, in the lotus feet of the Lord, in remembering His lotus feet, then we are safe. Otherwise, things are quite dangerous in this world. Samashitaye padapalaplavam mahatpadam punya yusho murari vambudiryastvam aham vatsa padam padam yad vipadam natesham. So in our state, in Vedi Bhakti, we have to be very careful. Therefore, we're seriously coming every morning, waking up early, attending the sadhana bhakti, chanting with devotees, engaging in good japa, good kirtan, like this, keeping ourselves very strong in Krishna consciousness. And then we also have to engage in some service, engaging, distributing Krishna consciousness to others. That is the main occupation of devotees. Devotee is karunya, very compassionate. So we understand that those who are covered by the modes of passion and ignorance, Prabhupada is warning them, Dvipada Pushu, you're like two-legged animals. And at the time of death, you may take birth, mudo joni sujayate, you may take birth in the animal kingdom. So, of course, in this age, everyone is covered by the modes of passion and ignorance. So they're more or less demoniac. Aneka chitta vibranta moha jala samavritaha. They're like fish caught in the net of materialistic desires, materialistic consciousness. They have no time for God. Sorry, I have no time. Please take this book. I have no time. Like this. So Prabhupada would compare his devotees that these temples are like bases from where we strengthen ourselves and then go out and declare war on Maya. So the metaphors are there, the analogies are there, that devotees have actually taken a vow to declare war on Maya. So we have to keep ourselves strong, the armor of Bhakti Yoga. Keep ourselves strong, and so that we can actually be instrumental in the Guru and Krishna's service. Lord Chaitanya is always worrying about the conditioned souls. Murari Gupta, in his book Chaitanya Chandrika, is saying that Narada Muni went up to the spiritual world and he met Lord Krishna. He said, you know, it's Kali Yuga, all your people are suffering down there, you know, you have to come. Please come down to this Kali Yuga and please be merciful to them, deliver them. They're all condemned. Tatapralinas tamasa mudo jone sujayate. They're going to take birth in lower species of life. They're going to take birth in the hellish planets, where Lord Yamaraj will punish them in so many ways, described in the 5th canto. So the Lord was petitioned by Narada Muni to come down. And of course, we know he comes full of compassion to help these fallen souls. They have no idea what they're doing. They have no idea how every day Ayur Harati Vaipum Sam Udyanastan Chayanaso. Tasyartan Nicha Uttama Shoka. Those who do not glorify the Lord with wonderful poetry from the pages of Srimad Bhagavatam, the sun is decreasing. Ayur Harati Vaipum Sam. Their lives are being decreased every day by the rising and setting of the sun. Their lives are being wasted. This human form of life, right? Prahlad Maharaj says, don't waste your human form of life. Dharmam Bhagavatanihan Durlabham Manusham Janma. This form of human life is very, very rare. Don't be whimsical. Don't, just go after whimsical things. Yeshastra vijum utrija vartate kamakarata. Nasa siddhim avapnoti nasukam na param gatim. Krishna is warning us that if you don't follow Shastra, the instructions of the Lord, and act whimsically for some fulfilling material desires, then you've wasted your life. Nasa siddhim. You won't attain perfection of the human form of life. And you won't attain that which the acharyas and the Guru Parampara is offering here. Imam Vishvashvate Yogam Proktavam Mahamabhyayam Vivishvan Manave Prahur Manu Ikshvakave Bravit. That Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has come and he revived this Madhava Gaudiya Sampradaya coming from Lord Brahma. And we are being connected to it, and we're connecting others to this Sampradaya, where the clear message of pure devotional service is being distributed and given to us so that we can also distribute it. And we see, as Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, the sign of a great devotee is he has huge heaps of new devotees sitting next to him, like a heap of new devotees. So Krishna Shakti Vinanahe, Śrīla Prabhupāda was empowered by this prema bhakti. It's very, very powerful. He's constantly engaging in the transcendental service in the Goloka Vrindavan, although externally he is doing so many activities, but internally he's in Vrindavan. He's in Sridham Mayapur. He's in, observing the transcendental pastimes of Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda. These are Nitya Lila, eternal pastimes of the Lord. So, with that empowerment, Śrīla Prabhupada empowered us, and he's still empowering us through his Vani. We say, oh, well, Prabhupada, he's gone. No, Prabhupada is not gone. You're reasoning ill who say that Vaishnavas die. For Vaishnavas live in sound to spread the holy name around. So we simply have to catch on to the lotus feet of the spiritual master and to remember the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. Lotus feet is where we begin. First canto, it represents the feet of the Lord, and it goes up to the 10th canto, the face of the Lord. So it is also necessary to remember that Krishna is having wonderful pastimes with the cowherd boys in Vrindavan. Mother Yashoda, she's always wondering, Rupa Goswami describes that she's praying to the trees along the banks of the Yamuna River where Krishna is embraced by the Kaliya snake. And she's saying, addressing them as if they're great sages, oh, please give me some antidote so that I can help my son. He's embraced by this poisonous snake. He's in complete traumatized. So this Vatsalya Ras, this affection is there. Krishna is so, he derives so much pleasure from this bhakti, this pure affection for him, that his mother is trying always to protect him. Sometimes she gets angry with him. One time, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is sitting in a dirty place, and Sachi Mata is, why are you sitting there? It's dirty. And then Lord Chaitanya starts preaching to her. That there's no duality like dirt and cleanliness. It's all coming from Bhumi, Apo, Nalo, Vayu, Kamanu. It's all the elements coming from Krishna, like this. So in this way, the Lord derives great pleasure from exchanging this ras, these rasas, these relationships with Shaka, with his friends, with Dasya, with his servants. Even when Grandfather Bhishmadev was attacking Krishna, he felt the wounds just like, it's compared, Prabhupada said, just like the biting of the gopis in the forest of Vrindavan. That he was also relishing this mood of chivalry with Grandfather Bhishmadev. And they were having this chivalrous exchange. So, this is the goal of our lives, is to remember the Lord and never forget Him. Savaya mana Krishna padara vindayo vachamsi vaikunta gunanuvarnane. The Maharaj Ambarish, he was always remembering, his mind was always fixed on the transcendental form of the Lord, and he was always hearing the transcendental glories of the Lord. Tava katam ritam tapta jivanam. That those who are trying to get out of this ocean of birth and death, kavitam iditam kalmasapaham, they like to hear the glorification of the Lord coming from the kavis, the great sages. Kavitam iditam kalmasapaham. Shravana mangalam, that these glories of the Lord are so auspicious. Shravana mangalam, Srimad Atatam, and so powerful that they will certainly deliver you from this Jara Marana, old age and death. Jara Marana mokshayam mama shruti etantite te brahma tad vidu kritsnam adhyatma karma chakilam. That how is it this powerful sound vibration is delivering you from this ocean of misery, of birth and death. Jara Marana mokshayam mama shritya. It's not merging into some impersonal effulgence. That is, Krishna says, Brahmano hi pratishtham. That effulgence, that's coming from my body. He says, Klesho dikataraste sham avyakta shakta cheta sam avyakta hi gatir dukam deha vadbir avapite. That this impersonalist business is very klesho, full of misery, full of problems. And that maya veshamanoye mam nityukta upasate. That one who's always thinking of me with great faith and determination. Shradavam paryopetas, great faith and determination. That he said, Same yukta, this is the highest of all the yogis. The highest of all paths is this path of devotional service. And by constantly glorifying the Lord, by chanting His holy names, given by the parampara, given by Lord Chaitanya, then the Lord manifests within our minds. But we have to be careful. Jada Bharat, he went way beyond. He went beyond Ashakti. He got to Bhava, preliminary stage of prema, love of God. He was so fixed that he gave up his kingdom, gave up his wives, gave up everything, gold, wealth, everything, and went to the forest. But he made a mistake. He allowed his mind to become distracted by the deer. And he suddenly became very affectionate to the deer. Oh, it's a beautiful deer. And before you know it, the deer became his object of affection. And he couldn't think of anything else. So this is the danger, that we come to Krishna consciousness and sometimes we become a little complacent or we become distracted by something or other. Inattentive chanting. There's 3 types of inattentive chanting. One is distraction. One is apathy. And one is laziness. Thank you. So, some or other, Bharat Maharaj, great devotee of the Lord, son of Rishabhadev, this of course is a lesson for us. that we have to be very careful, or else even on the royal road, Prabhupada said there's so much danger. He said that on the royal road sometimes there's some danger. The highway robbers, Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Moha, Madhya, and Matsarya. These are the highway robbers described on the road, on the path of devotional service. And Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati says that the road, the path to love of God is littered with stones and twigs and sharp objects. And so it's not an easy path. This path of devotional service is quite difficult. And Rupa Goswami says that pure devotional service is very rarely attained. Very rarely attained, pure devotional service. Kapila Dev in chapter 29 describes different types of devotional service. Devotional service in the mode of passion, devotional service in the mode of ignorance, where a person becomes proud, he's in the mode of passion, or he has some material desires. Sometimes we become contaminated by desires for adoration, distinction, and profit. Subtle desires. We gave up the gross ones, but there's these subtle ones. And as while we're chanting, we're watering these weeds of subtle desires. Pratishta, puja, these things, envy of others, and so on. So in devotional service, we have to be constantly attentive, very diligent to be careful how we're engaging with devotees, avoid offending them, avoid considering the holy name as karma kanda. You know, yeah, I'm chanting, but Krishna, you know, I want some material, you know, some things. Even devotee doesn't want the 5 types of liberation, right? Doesn't want to have the same body, live with Krishna. No, I simply want to serve Krishna birth after birth. Mama Janmani Ishvare. I don't have to go to Vaikuntha. Let me, Narayana Parasarvena Kusa. Svarga Pavarga Naraka. He can go to hell if he doesn't mind going to hell, as long as he remembers Krishna, remembers the lotus feet of the Lord. That only comes when we please the spiritual master. Yasya Devi Para Bhaktir. We have to please the great acharyas. Of course, there's Diksha Guru, but there's also Shiksha Guru. So Śrīla Prabhupada is the overriding Shiksha Guru. And he has emphasized to us that you must be very, very strict in your devotional service, and you must try to distribute my books. In other words, preaching. You must try to deliver the fallen souls. It's very, very important. So that is the secret of getting the mercy. Guru Krishna Prasade Poi Bhakti Lata Bij. That is the secret of getting Krishna, remembering Krishna, coming to pure devotional service. The secret is pleasing. Yasya Prasada, Bhagavat Prasado, Yasya Prasada. So that is the secret. Avoid offending the spiritual master. Oh, he's another guru. No. Śrīla Prabhupada, Shakti Vaishnavatar. He's not another guru in the line of Lord Chaitanya. He's so empowered by the Lord. He's Shakti Vaishnavatar. One of the different types of avatars is Shakti Vaishnavatar. So we have to think how we can please him. Therefore, every morning we have Prabhupada Guru Puja. And we want to engage in our service to Śrīla Prabhupada. Whatever our guna and karma is, we engage in that service to Śrīla Prabhupada through the guidance of our Shiksha and Diksha gurus. Through the guidance of these gurus. We can even take instruction from an illiterate person. Chanakya Pandit says, take instruction from an illiterate person. Take gold from a dirty place. Even a woman is lowborn, if she's very chaste, take her as wife. like this, right? So like that, we have to always associate with devotees favorably, always try to please the great acharyas, and follow in their footsteps. And in this way, we'll avoid the situation that Bharat Maharaj fell into. Of course, he was very sorry for his mistake, and Krishna always helps his devotee. Matchita sarva durgani mat prasada trishasi. So a devotee sometimes, even if he has a fall or something, Prabhupada says, don't criticize, just encourage him and help him to come back to the proper situation. And so Krishna blessed that in his next life he would, after being a deer, take birth as Jada Bharat, pure devotee of the Lord. And we know they tried to kill him, and Mahakali came out and killed them all and drank their blood. Another wonderful, colorful story from the pages of Srimad Bhagavatam. The Mahakali and the witches came and killed the dacoits and drank their blood and became intoxicated. Oh, we love to hear these wonderful stories. Krishna created a river of blood in destroying Jarasanda's armies 17 times. Krishna killing Shalva, destroying his airplane. Yeah, we like to hear heroic stories. So we hear about Krishna. This is very purifying to our heart. Hearing these wonderful stories of the Lord are automatically very purifying to us. Krishna Katha. Try to avoid prajalpo. The positive side is always try to discuss the wonderful pastimes. Krishna killing Bhaumasura and so on. So we'll stop there. Open up for some questions or comments. Prabhu?
You spoke some about the Nartya-nivritti, and are you able to hear me? You spoke a little bit about a Nartya-nivritti and how we had to be attentive. It seems like one of the first steps in a Nartya-nivritti is to recognizing the anarthas there, and then we can seriously pray to Krishna to free us from that and make all endeavors to avoid that path that the anartha is leading us on. Your point of view on that?
Yeah, well, of course, in the beginning when we joined the movement, I mean, we were in the West, pretty contaminated, but we were searching, and many of us were vegetarians before we joined or into yoga. But there's the gross anarthas, lust and greed and anger. And then there's the subtle ones. We are in Krishna consciousness for 40 years, 30 years, 20 years. I'm a senior devotee. Amanidvam, adambidvam, ahimsa. Krishna says the qualities of a devotee are amanidvam. He doesn't have any pride. He doesn't have desire for false prestige. I'm this, I'm in this ashram, I'm a guru, no. Prabhupada really liked Jayananda. Jayananda used to take us on Harinam every day in San Francisco. And when the very successful Rath Yatra happened, Jayananda organized the whole Rath Yatra. So everyone came back to the temple with Prabhupada. Everyone was trying to get the attention of Prabhupada, And Prabhupada said, "Where is Jayananda?" "Oh, Prabhupada, he's at the park, big famous park." And "What is he doing?" "Prabhupada, he's picking up all the garbage we left." He was cleaning up the whole park. Prabhupada said, "Yes, this is pure devotion." And he's so, touched and affectionate and inspired by Jayananda's humility. Jayananda was also many times you should be the temple president. San Francisco. No, I'm too fallen, like this. Very, very humble devotee, very humble. Only wanted to serve. So, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says also, Amanina Manadena, Kirtaniya Sada Hare. Very important, very important. Bhaktivinoda Thakur describes it. So anarthas are subtle and gross. So the subtle ones, we're in the movement, but we have subtle ones. Social position, right? Some respect from, have some followers now, have some puja, do some puja to me, like this. So these are the subtle ones that will weaken our devotional creeper. So these are anarthas that we have to get rid of, so that our heart remains very clean and pure, so that one day Krishna will say, "Hi, here I am," in his pure, colorful monsoon cloud color form. So that is, Krishna says, Naham Prakasha Sarvasya Yogamaya. So we're actually very fortunate because we're in the Yogamaya of Krishna. Like people, you don't see God, show me God. They haven't been exposed to the Yogamaya, to the internal potency of the Lord. So what do you do? Like my cousin in London. What do you guys do all day? What do we do? We're experiencing Krishna when we chant His holy name. Krishna's allowing us to experience Him, His internal potency, His pleasure potency. We're experiencing it. Bhakti Devi is giving us mercy. And we say that's what Rasavarjam, we have a higher taste. And by that higher taste, we drop off, we evict, or we diminish or nullify all the lower tastes. Lower taste is there. Lower taste is there, but it's a fight, internal conflict going on. The mind is saying, come, enjoy. Krishna is saying, no, just chant good, nice rounds, surrender, associate favorably with the devotees, and so on. So, gross and subtle anarthas have to be purged from the heart. And that takes a lot of effort. The mind is our number one enemy because it's the boss, it's the controller of all the other senses. Another question?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thanks for again one beautiful lecture. No deviation from scriptures, totally beautiful verses from scriptures. My question is, as this verse is that we have to fix our mind on Krishna, on the lotus feet of the Krishna. So in scripture, there, through our parampara, we know many ways are there. Like this.
Speak a little slower also.
Okay. So in this verse, we know that we have to fix our mind on the lotus feet of Krishna. So in scriptures and through parampara, we know this devotional process, 9 devotional process, and through parampara, we know through different services, we can fix our mind. But as Shravanam Kirtanam, we try to fix our mind, but thing is we don't have taste in Shravanam Kirtanam. So we do Nama Aparad and so many Aparad in Shravanam also. So then we are advised, okay, you do some services for Krishna because you don't have taste, so you do some services. When we go for services, we have anarthas in our mind and we have anarthas in our heart. So when we go for there and then again we do some aparad there in seva aparad and so many aparad and we pratishtha and so many problems there also comes. So now question comes in mind we should stay because both places problems are there. If we go for pure devotional service, problems are there because we don't have taste. And here we try to do some service, here problems are there because here we have this anarthas, so we cannot do properly. So now the question comes where we should stay. Either we should stay in pure devotional service, Shravanam Kirtanam, Because like ultimately no taste, but we will keep on doing, someday taste will come. Or either we should shift to services that where like, you know, there also we will struggle through our anarthas. So how to fix our mind in better way, like, you know.
Okay, so Prabhupada said, don't artificially try to remember Krishna. There was one devotee, he had like a wire, and he had a picture of Krishna. And he was walking around the temple, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. He's looking. And Prabhupada said, that is artificial. So by chanting and developing our purity, Krishna will manifest in our minds. The mind has a screen, it has audio video, right? Sounds. Narottam Das Kisur said many sounds can run through our mind, but we want transcendental sounds. Krishna is the lifter of Govardhan Hill, killer of Keshi, killer of Putana, the Lord of the Gopis. These are all sound vibrations, but also they give a visual of Krishna with the gopis, Krishna killing Keshi and other demons, Aristasura. Oh no, mythology. No. These beautiful images of the Lord in His transcendental activities are Nitya Leela. They're going on right now as we speak. In some universe, these activities are going on. God Himself is practicing these wonderful boyhood activities. So that will manifest to us. Prabhupada has given us Krishna book. We have Chaitanya Charitamrita. We have the incarnations of God described in 8th canto, 6th canto, 7th canto, all in Srimad Bhagavatam. So there's a plethora of descriptions of the Lord and His incarnation for us to remember. So by hearing and reading these adventures and the Supreme Lord's activities come to our mind, purifies us, and our heart becomes purified. But the mind is the mirror of the heart. So as long as there's little dust, little contamination, then the mind becomes a little covered. So, Jamasmi Prabhu, can you make a point?
I was just reading in the Srimad Bhagavatam, Śrīla Prabhupāda Līlamrita, the whole pastime when Keshav in San Francisco figured out how to distribute big books, and then right up through the section where Prabhupada's asking the BBT to publish in 2 months 17 volumes of the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Mm-hmm. And throughout this, quite a long section of the Śrīla Prabhupāda Līlamrita, devotees are personally describing how happy they were to distribute books, how much fun it was. It was so exciting, such a high taste. And then they would chant their rounds the next day, and the taste would be there. So it was, and then better they chanted, the more they would distribute, the higher the taste, the more fun it would be. They actually use that word, it's really fun to distribute Prabhupada's books. And that was my experience. And, you know, you get such a high taste doing it because it's what Prabhupada put as the highest priority in our movement in those days. And when devotees did that, whew, it's incredible what they went through. And then they would chant really good rounds because they knew if they chanted good rounds, then they would distribute more books and they would please Prabhupada more. And then it was just an ongoing circle, upward spiral of ecstasy. Okay, so he'll engage you in book distribution and that will solve your problems.
Mayapur is the capital of book distribution. Yeah, a lot of excitement. Prabhupada's energy was very powerful, and we felt empowered by him. Everyone, not just the book distributors, the pujaris, the cooks, the architect, Surabi Swami. You know, he felt very empowered to create these beautiful buildings and so on. So that's Shushushro Shradhanasya Vasudeva Katha Ruchi. The more you serve the pure devotee of the Lord, the more ruchi for hearing the message of Vasudeva, that verse in first canto. So it was very exciting times for sure, very exciting. And even though, you know, we're talking about a hostile country, like America, you know, the media, we were in the news all the time, Hare Krishnas are bad. Prabhupada even wrote in the purport, they say Hare Krishnas are bad, thank you for chanting Hare Krishna. Like this, even they say something, they're chanting, getting purified. And in Chicago, one demonic, he was saying, Hare Krishnas are bad, they're brainwashed, Hare Krishnas, Hare Krishnas, Hare Krishnas. And he was saying Hare Krishna was in such a negative way, and when Prabhupada looked at the newspaper, and there was another newspaper with a very favorable article, but it was one Hare Krishna. Right? This one is better. So yeah, it was very exciting to serve Śrīla Prabhupāda in the face of reverse conditions, the face of, I would say, hostility. We were being arrested all the time. There's no way you could not be arrested at least once in a month and harassed. But, you know, people who were questioning the status quo, the American dream, they were more attracted. And they would hear, oh, Hare Krishnas are bad, let me check it out. So they would come to the temple to see if we were really bad. So yeah, we got this, Prabhupada said, Iskcon sandwich. We go out, distribute books, come back, and hear Bhagavad-Gītā at night. In the morning, have morning program. Evening, have evening program. In between, book preaching and book distribution. So Prabhupada called it the Iskcon sandwich. So the more we just served Prabhupada, the more we had this affinity for hearing the message of Vasudeva. And we'll stop there, we're quite late. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Thank you for attending Srimad Bhagavatam, Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. So today also marks the appearance day of Vrindavan Das Thakur, who is an incarnation of Krishna Dvaipayana Veda Vyasadeva, the author and literary incarnation of God, author of all Vedic literatures. So, he is the son of Srivas Thakur's wife's sister, Narayani. Narayani and Srivas Thakur's wife, they were wet nurses in the palace of Mother Yashoda. So Ambika is the name of Srivas Thakur's wife in Dwapara Leela, in Krishna Leela. And so they appear to embellish the wonderful pastimes of the wonderful devotees of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Vrindavan Das Thakur, we know he wrote the wonderful Leela of Lord Chaitanya, Chaitanya Bhagavat. It's a very great personality. They all appeared in this area here in Sridham Mayapur, the holy Dham, which is non-different from Sri Vrindavan Dham. So it's a very special place where the Lord appeared 540 years ago, Supreme Personality of Godhead.